Hi Disnerds, this is Lori, and I'm Drew, and in this video, we're going to talk about why we are super duper psyched for the return of Fantasmic finally to Disney parks.
And stick around till the end because we're going to give you our top 3 favorite Fantasmic Facts.
The Good Disney News.
Okay, so it has been a slow journey back from the pandemic at the theme parks, but in recent months we've started getting back a lot of the features that people have missed so much at the Disney parks. Things like parades and fireworks, and even character hugs are starting to come back in parks like Paris and hopefully soon here in the US. You can check out the entire video we did on that topic. But here we are, big news, Fantasmic's coming back. Really been waiting for this one, and we even have a date now in Disneyland. May 28th is when that show will be returning to Disneyland, and we haven't confirmed that it's coming back to Hollywood Studios in Florida. We don't have a firm date on that, but everyone who kind of watches the space says, yeah, the theater's getting close to being ready, and so hopefully we'll have a date on that sometime very soon. And one thing we do know, based on an announcement at D23, is that when Fantasmic does return to Hollywood Studios, it's going to have a whole new segment that's going to feature scenes from Aladdin, Moana, and Frozen. So that will be super exciting to see.
How about a little history lesson on Fantasmic? It originally opened in 1992 at Disneyland, and then the Hollywood Studios version opened a little bit later in 1998. The two different Fantasmic shows are really different experiences. One big reason is just the location. At Disneyland, guests actually sit right on the Rivers of America esplanade, like right down on the concrete, and the show itself takes place in the Rivers of America. So Tom Sawyer Island is the stage, and the Rivers of America contain some of the pyrotechnics, whereas the Hollywood Studios version actually has its own amphitheater called the Hollywood Hills Amphitheater that's for the Fantasmic show. So it's got its own moat, it has its own mountain set, and it has its own stadium seating. So both shows are great, but they are very different. It's worth seeing both at both locations. Another difference is the Pocahontas scene in the Hollywood Studios version. It's really pretty long. Like, I would say that the entire middle of the Hollywood Studios version of Fantasmic is dominated by this Pocahontas story. That's not in the Disneyland version, and it makes me curious if, when the new version comes out soon, if they'll update the show and take the Pocahontas part out or shorten it. It does seem really long.
It does seem long for a show that otherwise smashes like almost every Disney movie into like a 27-minute span. Right. Pocahontas gets a lot of airtime.
It really does. And finally, something cool that the Hollywood Studios version does that the Disneyland version does not is there is an inclement weather version in Florida. If it's going to rain and it's not safe for the performers to be outside for the entire show, what they'll do is a 2 to 3 minute version called Taste of Fantasmic. And it's cute because it's usually raining or about to rain when this happens. And so they play April showers from Bambi. And then they set off all of the pyrotechnics and everything really quickly in this short span. So not the same show, and it's not as good, but like, at least it's something, right?
It's a nice consolation prize for people who have probably been sitting for 90 minutes in the rain only to find out the show they were waiting for is not happening. Exactly. So I appreciate that. Okay, so what's the story behind Fantasmic? It's actually kind of perfect in its simplicity. You're really just taken inside the dreams of Mickey Mouse. That is the story. You start off in Mickey Mouse's dreams, and of course, what's Mickey Mouse going to dream about except all of the Disney characters and movies and spectacular numbers and princesses and all of that. But, you know, there's a twist in the middle where the evil queen and magic mirror come in and take control of his dream and recruit all the other villains and turn it into a nightmare Fantasmic. And at some point he fights the evil queen as she turns into a dragon and takes control of his dreams back. And this gigantic joygasm ensues of music and fireworks and all your beloved characters.
Fantasmic might be my all-time favorite Disney show.
Oh, hands down here. There's no contest.
I absolutely love it, and it makes me wonder, why is it so good? Why does it work so well? And I think part of it is the music is just great. The composer took all of these different Disney songs and stitched them together so skillfully. And the climax, the song at the end, I mean, it just puts a bow on everything and hits me right in the feels every single time that it happens. I think another reason that it's so relatable is you were talking about the simplicity of the story. This is a story that everyone has experienced. Every child, every adult, like everybody has had a bad dream. And I think most of us have had a fantasy of being able to step into our dream and become the hero and actually battle away our own nightmares, which is what happens in Fantasmic.
Yeah, I feel like anyone who's seen the show knows what you're talking about, and that's because there's nothing subtle in this show whatsoever, especially the final few minutes of this show. It is so over the top. I mean, it's strobe lights and fireworks, and like you said, the music just keeps building and building and building until everything just literally explodes. Like, it's so well done and it's so powerful. I have so many personal stories of going to see Fantasmic. We've been going to see it for years. One of my most memorable experiences was going to see it shortly after I had had surgery and I had been at home recovering. I hadn't been out. I hadn't experienced much. I was still feeling a little bit down, but I wanted to get out for the evening. And we went and we saw Fantasmic, and I've never just been so overwhelmed across all my senses. And I remember just sitting there like a tears streaming down my face. Yeah. Like I just couldn't handle it in that moment because I was just a little extra vulnerable.
I'm super excited for Fantasmic to come back, and I can't wait to go see the show as soon as it starts back up. Let's talk about 3 facts about Fantasmic that maybe you didn't know. Number 1, the Hollywood Hills Amphitheater moat holds 1.9 million gallons of water. It's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water. It kind of makes me have to pee.
There are 3 water screens at Fantasmic, jets that spray these liquid water screens. Each one of those pumps out 800 gallons per minute for a total of 2,400 gallons every minute of water sprayed into the air as Fantasmic screens.
Now I really have to pee. Mm-hmm.
And number 3, for each Fantasmic show, there are 46 performers wearing a total of 78 costumes. That's a lot of performers.
Not as much as there is water.
And it doesn't make me have to pee.
So have you seen Fantasmic at either Disneyland or Disney World? Are you excited it's back? What's your favorite part of the show? Let us know in the comments. And if you have an idea for another episode of the Good Disney News, also let us know in the comments. We're always looking for ideas. And until next time, Thumb, Sub, Belle, Lori, Drew, farewell.
The Good Disney News.